In this video, we're going to learn to play the song Goodness of God by Bethel Music on the acoustic guitar. We're going to be using G shapes. So let's dive right in. I do want to point out I have the capo on fret 1, and the reason for this is that the original recording of the song by Bethel Music with Jen Johnson leading is in the key of A flat. And having the capo on fret 1 using G shapes lets you play along to the original recording of the song. Later on, towards the end of the video, I am going to slide the capo up to fret 5, and what that will do is put us in the key of C using G shapes, and that's just a little more suitable for a male lead. So let's dive in, look at the chords that we need. So we're going to be using just a standard G chord. It's kind of a variation. So when you first learn guitar, you might learn a G chord like that. This is a standard G shape. I changed the fingering that I use, and I actually use this fleshy part here of my ring finger to mute the 5th string of the guitar, the A string. And the reason for that is it gives us this shape to be able to play kind of the iconic little riff that you hear in the intro of the song that sounds like this. Now we will look at that riff just in a little more detail in the next section. So let's continue on looking at the other chords that we need. We do need a standard C chord. You can see the diagram on the screen there. And that allows us, just using that traditional shape, again, it just sounds a little more fitting for the arrangement of the song, allows us to get back to that G quickly. And then another chord that we need is a D. Now, instead of using just the standard D, you can't use that standard D shape. I like to actually go back to this C shape and slide it 2 frets up, keeping the same exact shape, and use this variation of a D chord. And it just sounds really rich and pretty and full. And you can even put this pinky on the 1st string, the high E string. If you put that pinky on that note there, it's kind of a little bit of variation. I'll show you how I use this when we go through the sections of the song. And then another chord that we need is an E minor 7. Now I like to use this variation. The reason for this, as opposed to just a standard E minor 7 that you might play like that, doesn't really matter what fingerings you use, is that adding this note on top here, which is the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string, just adds a richness to that chord. Now I do want to point out, you might be thinking, okay, well no, you're actually on the 4th fret. I am going to refer to the frets when we talk about these chords relative to the capo. So I'm basically treating it as if this was the new nut of the guitar. So that's why I'm saying it's on the 3rd fret, just again, relative to the capo. And that way too, if you feel like, hey, I want to actually play the song without the capo, just play in the standard key of G. That way you could reference where those frets are relative to the nut of the guitar. So again, that's your E minor 7. Now, one more chord that you do need in the bridge of the song is a G over B, and that's going to look like this. So what you're going to do is actually anchor these 2 notes here, the 3rd fret of your high E string and your B string, the 1st and the 2nd string of the guitar, and then you're going to play this B note, which is the 2nd fret of the A string, the 5th string of the guitar. It's going to sound like that. And what's nice about this is actually in the bridge, I would actually switch the variation of chord shapes that you're using, and actually even sometimes in the verses, and you'll probably see this in the playthrough of the song later on towards the end of the video, but you can actually anchor these chords up here, these fingers up here to play these chords where you could play that G over B, then you can play a C like that as well. So it's another variation you could use. And then you can even play your G like that. And then even a D. You can kind of switch back and forth between that standard D and that D sus4. And that's going to be really useful, especially in the bridge of the song. And you'll see that when we get to that section. So those are the chords that you need. Now there is one more little trick with the chords. In the verses of the song, there is a walk down that is pretty signature to this song. So what I would do for this is I would use actually that anchor G shape, and then actually you're going to change one note that you're doing to get this walk down. So let me demonstrate what it sounds like. You'll probably recognize this from the song. It sounds like this. We get to that E minor 7. So if you notice, all I did there was I'm using this G, and then I'm actually changing this note here, getting this middle finger out of the way from the 3rd fret of the 6th string, the low E string, and allowing this F sharp note, again, relative to the capo, right? The 2nd fret of the low E string, the 6th string. I'm allowing that note to sound out. So it's kind of just a passing note to get to this E minor 7. You'll notice for this E minor 7, instead of using that variation that I just covered that is really nice to use for the verses, you can actually use this variation as well, which is also just keeping that anchor there on these top 2 notes. And that's how you get that signature walk down. And that covers all the chords that you need to play the song. So let's look at just a general strumming pattern. Now again, the song sounds like this for the verses. You can actually use that pretty much throughout the whole song. So the strumming pattern, you'll see a visual on the screen there. It looks like this. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. Let me slow that down. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. So again, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. And if you know how to count rhythm, the basis of this rhythm is 16th notes. So 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. So when I say the basis of it is 16th notes, you're trying to keep that fluid motion and kind of have your hand moving the whole time, right? Just 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and then you're kind of adding those slight just accents. And now this is not a whole lesson on dynamics, but just want to give you a feel for that try to think of kind of keeping that fluid motion along by counting 16th notes in your head. And then the downs and ups are really kind of the accents of that strumming pattern. So again, one more time. 1, 2, and a 3 and 4, and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and 4E and a down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. So again, you can slow that down if you need to. I would really encourage you with strumming patterns to go slow and allow the speed to come over time. So with that, now we know our chords, we know a strumming pattern we could use. Let's dive into the sections of the song. So let's look at the intro. Now I did mention that there is this iconic little kind of riff that you hear. So I want to break that down for a second. What I'm doing is I'm using that kind of open G shape that I covered when we first started looking at the chords. And if you know how to sound out your A minor 7, essentially what you're doing is we're not playing an A minor 7 chord, but I'm using that G shape and then using these 2 notes from an A minor 7, which again would sound like that if you played that A minor 7 chord. I'm using those and doing what's called a hammer-on and a pull-off. So that's what gives you that. And I'm not actually doing a true hammer-on and pull-off. That would actually sound like where you just strum and you do that. So I am actually emphasizing that kind of that riff even more by actually strumming it out. So what I mean by that is this. So you'll notice with my strumming hand here, I'm actually strumming that rhythm. And what I'm doing there is instead of going down, up, I'm actually doing all downstrokes. I'm going down, 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 down. So again, I'll try to just get that a little bit closer up here so you can see what I'm doing there. So. It might take you a little bit to get that. And then, hey, even if that's kind of too advanced for you, don't worry about it. The song will still be amazing and great without that little riff. But I did want to point out how to play that because you hear it pretty prominently in the intro of the song. So that's essentially the intro, is hanging on that G, doing that riff, and then we are into the verse of the song. So let's look at the first verse. It's going to go like this. I love you, Lord, G. You got the chord diagrams. C, back to the G. Here's that walk down. E minor 7. D. Now this is where I like to use that D. And I mentioned that you could really put that high pinky up top there. and then it goes back to the E minor 7, to the C, to the walk down again. G, the F sharp, E minor 7, C, to the D, G. You'll notice what I'm doing is I am using these different variations of those chords. So I started with that open root C to get that intro right, and then I kind of stay on that for the start of the verse. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held. And then I actually switched to that C variation with the anchor in your hands. Again, that's just demonstrating that you can't even use that standard D shape. From the moment that I wake up, E minor 7, C, till I lay my G, F sharp to the E minor 7, C, to the D, G. And that's the first verse. The second verse goes the same way. So rather than kind of talk through the lyric, because I am going to do a playthrough of the song towards the end of the video here, we'll just jump straight into the chorus. So let's look at this. The chorus is nice and easy. We actually start on the C. So, all my life you have been faithful, G, goes back to the C. All my life you have been so good. Now you'll notice I'm using those variations. Again, kind of really sticking with this anchor. You can actually use that D, that same D variation for the chorus as well. When it goes to that D, it sounds nice. Then we go back, repeat that. All my life, being faithful. All my life, you have been so good. Now, second half of the chorus. With every breath that I am able, walk down, I will sing of the goodness, D, of God. And then this will lead us into, especially after the second chorus where we've done the second verse, second chorus, that'll lead us straight into the bridge. So let's look at that next. Now the bridge is where we're going to need this G over B. And so we're going to start right on that. G over B, your goodness is C running after, D running after, then to the G. G over B to the C, to the D, to the G. With my life laid down, G over B, surrendered now, I give you, D, everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And then the bridge repeats. Your goodness. Now, strumming wise, I'll actually often switch to this for the bridge. It just kind of adds some drive. So if you notice, all I'm doing is downstroke eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. My life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. So again, just down strums. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And then the end of the bridge, there's you can do the song a variety of ways when you're actually doing it live, and you can kind of stay up for a chorus there. Obviously in the recording of the song, they drop down. They do kind of a real low chorus. Then they do a chorus where they build it back up again and kind of end on a high note where there's a chorus tag at the end. So let me actually show you that little chorus tag before we do the full playthrough of the song. And so what this is going to sound like towards the end of the song, and you're going to hear it once on the recording. Oftentimes, worship teams, we like to kind of do tags where we repeat the tag or the ending tagline of a chorus maybe 2 or 3 times. But the tag is going to sound like this. So what I'm going to do is just get you up to speed with the chorus. Let's pretend we're doing the whole chorus one more time. It's going to sound like this. All my life you have been faithful, G. All my life you have been so good, to G. With every breath that I am able, and you're doing that walk down, I will sing, now here it is, of the goodness of God. So if you want to do the tags, you go to the E minor 7. I will sing as many times as you'd like of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. And that allows you to land on that G shape. Hi friend, we'll get right back to the video in just a moment, but I wanted to take some time to tell you about a free resource, a number system cheat sheet that I would love to get into your hands. There's a link in the description below, and what this is instead of thinking about songs in terms of their chords and the key that you learn them in, for example, G, D, C, you'll start to think 1, 5, 4. Now, this is a really helpful tool for you as a worship leader to be able to train your ear to actually hear these chord progressions, but also to memorize songs. And if you need to change the key on the fly, it's a really easy way for your band to actually communicate with one another, your worship team. So I'd love to get that into your hands. Please see that link in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. So let me do this. Let me demonstrate a full playthrough of the song. Like I said, I am going to go key of C, so I'm going to put the capo on fret 5 here and just demonstrate this in the key of C. Here we go. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. Yes, Lord. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, Lord. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me, yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, surrendered now, and give you everything, yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah, and on the G, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness Here's those tags. I will sing of the goodness of my God. Yeah, I will sing of the goodness of God. Amen. Amen. Such a good song. Well, I hope that tutorial was helpful. And like I said, I would love to get that number chart. It's a number system guide into your hands. And again, it just helps you not just learning the chords of the song in the sense of, G, D, E minor 7, but if you refer to them as numbers, when you actually switch the key of the song like we did, switching it up to the key of C, and obviously we're still referring to them in G shapes, actually allows you to communicate with your band a little bit better as well if the whole band is using the number system. So there's a link in that to the description below. And again, would love to get that into your hands. And friends, I will see you in the next video. God bless you and your ministry.